Hi, and welcome to your Digital World Part 2. Today I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about searches. Obviously, searching on the internet can be quite complicated, but yet it's something that everyone can learn to do very well and very effectively. So I'm going to show you first the common Google screen. Almost everyone Googles their searches today, so this is where you go to find information. Now, a lot of people make mistakes when they're searching on Google. I'm going to be very careful what kinds of words you're typing into your search. If you're typing in a long question, for example, you may be limiting your searches to only that particular long phrase together. So you want to be very, very careful in how you word things. So for example, let's say that you are searching for the Loch Ness Monster. You can type in Loch Ness Monster into your search terms. Again, that should bring up a lot of things about the Loch Ness Monster. Now, normally, you will notice that you'll have lots and lots of searches because you haven't, included an advanced search. You can also put, because it's a phrase, it has to be together. We don't really want just any kind of monster. We want specifically the Loch Ness Monster. We can put quotation marks around this, and that shows the computer that this is something that we want together. If we're also looking up the legend of the Loch Ness Monster, we can also type in legend. And that should help us to get information about the Loch Ness Monster and the legend specifically. Alright, so these are the search results we get. We want to be very careful which things we use, because again, we talked about credibility in the last session. So make sure that you're locating a good source, one that is credible and good to use. Alright, so that's one thing we can keep in mind when we're searching. But there are other search engines besides Google that are available for your use. And I don't want you to ever think that you have to just use Google. For example, there is Google Scholar, which supplies better articles and information than you would find on a regular Google search. So we can type in Loch Ness Monster on Google Scholar and legend as well, and see what we get. Alright, we're going to get searches here, but notice there's not as many searches. These are, again, more credible sources. The information is supposed to be better. Alright. Also, there are things like sweetsearch.com. We recommend that a lot at the high school where I work. On sweetsearch.com, they have, again, credible sources. These are supposed to be evaluated by research experts, is what they tell us. So, again, we can type in that same search. And notice again, I'm using the quotation marks that they really do help in searches, so you often want to include those when it is possible. But again, it may not always have the word legend in it, so I keep legend separated from Loch Ness Monster. The computer always knows that everything that you type in, you want that all to be searched for at once. So again, we're locating sources about the Loch Ness Monster, and we can scroll. This resource will only show you 20 results at a time, but you'll have more results than that. They'll just be on other pages. Alright. And what's nice about this source is you don't have to click on each article to find out what it's about. It'll give you information below each entry to show you what it's about before you go and you click on each one. So you'll have some idea if you're interested before browsing each and every single website result. I just kind of want to show you some different search engines that are available for use. Again, you don't always have to use Google. You can try other things that might be better, and provide those more credible searches. Now, I want to talk to you for just a moment about Boolean words. Now, Boolean words are pretty dated today. We don't use these very often, but you will find things like Kentucky Virtual Library that will want you to use Boolean words, and you might find another search engine that wants you to use Boolean words. So I just kind of want to go over it briefly just in case you would encounter this. You really, in Google and other search engines like that today, they have all been changed, and they're so advanced that the and, or, and not Boolean phrases are not going to work, and often they that command is just outdated, and it's not going to be functional. I know today you can use pluses and minuses as well, and those will normally work when the Boolean words will not work. But originally, and, or, and not were added as Boolean words to help limit the searches and to help expand the searches if need be. And was used to say that you specifically were going to look for two things. Like, for example, on this page it talks about how if you were searching for television and violence, an article about both. And so you would type in television and violence. Now notice it's all capital letters here. Originally, each thing had to be capitalized, so the A and ND, both of those extra letters had to be capitalized. Alright, the other most common one was or. And for or, you would say this word or that word is mainly used for synonyms. For example, in the research project that I'm doing with my students when they're researching these mythical creatures, they might type in Sasquatch or Bigfoot because, again, it's called both things. So in this example, it says adolescents or teenagers. So again, we would type in adolescents in the capital O-R, teenagers. And again, that would show us anything that's about adolescents or teenagers because they're the same thing. It's just a different word used for it. The other Boolean word that was used from time to time was the word not. So it would be you want this, but not this. And again, this was not used as often. So like in this example, it's high school students, not elementary students. And again, it was to bring your searches down. Maybe you were getting too many results that had nothing to do with what you were looking for. Alright, and that's just a little bit about Boolean words. Again, today they're not very user friendly. They're not needed. They're necessary. So you want to be careful about using those because you can overuse them when the computer system doesn't recognize them anymore. But it was originally something that was used by everyone. If you look at this information here, it says Boolean search commands have been used traditionally for when the internet first started. And again, but they're not necessary today. They're not something that is practical today. Alright, but I just want to go over a little bit about Boolean words in case that you should hear that when you're conducting searches, and I wanted to go over some other search engines besides Google. Well, I hope you've learned a little bit about your digital world today, and make sure you ask me if you have any questions. Thank you. Bye.